Ever get the feeling that some people just sail to the top, effortlessly snag that star performer title?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to dig into why women, even when they're just as skilled, often miss out on that top tier.
Right, right. And it's not just about, like, the pipeline problem.
Exactly. Goes way deeper than that.
It's about these hidden biases, these assumptions we might not even realize we're making.
So are you saying even when women are exceeding every expectation, there's still this invisible barrier?
And it's like, Gurecki.
Yeah.
This research we're diving into, it suggests that the whole idea of a star performer might actually be unconsciously tied to, how do we say this, qualities we usually associate with men.
Whoa. Okay. Hold up a sec. That's a lot to unpack. So even when women are hitting it out of the park, there's this bias. Tell me everything about this research.
Okay, so they dug into something called implicit star performer theories.
Catchy.
Right, let's just call them ISPTs.
Yeah.
Basically, think of them like mental shortcuts our brains take to decide, like, who's got that it factor.
So like a stereotype, but for high achievers. Okay, now I'm a little worried about what might be lurking in my subconscious.
Well, get ready, because it's fascinating. And a little disheartening, honestly. They looked at how people perceive those at the very top, the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Descriptions of star performers were crazy similar to how people describe men in general.
Wait, seriously?
Sure.
The top 1%. You're telling me even when you get to that level, this bias is still there?
It seems like it.
You'd think pure talent would be all that matters, not these hidden assumptions. So, like, what kind of biases are we talking about here? Give me the details.
All right, so they found 6 main characteristics that people link to star performers. Driven, relational, extraordinary, fascinating, tenacious, and brilliant.
Okay, some of those, like driven and brilliant, those make sense. But fascinating, that's a job requirement now.
It's more about that.
Yeah.
That certain charisma, that magnetism. And the research says even with these traits, which are about way more than just ambition, the bias is still there.
Okay, I gotta know, how'd they even measure this? Did they just ask people to describe their ideal star? Seems kind of subjective, even if it's unintentional.
They use this tool called Shine's Descriptive Index. It's a classic method. Lists a bunch of masculine and feminine attributes,
Okay.
And get this, people kept choosing more masculine descriptors when they had to describe a star.
So it's like our brains, when we think go-getters or trailblazer, they automatically picture a man, even if we don't mean to.
Exactly.
Wow.
And here's the kicker. This bias, it's not the same across all fields. They found some big differences depending on whether a field is male-dominated, female-dominated,
So it's not just us as individuals, it's the environment too.
Seems that way.
Okay, now that is interesting.
Yeah. Like take male-dominated fields, for example.
Yeah.
Like software development.
Yeah.
Yeah, in those kind of fields that think star, think men thing, way more intense.
Like it's baked into the culture.
Yeah, like the environment itself is making that bias even stronger. But then they looked at fields that are more, balanced, men and women both, like biology, for example.
Okay.
Or even female-dominated ones, like clinical psychology. And in those, the bias wasn't as bad.
So the cultural soup of the field matters. That makes sense. But here's a thought. Let's say a woman is absolutely crushing it, exceeding every single expectation. Does it really even matter if some people still have that star image in their head as more traditionally masculine? Shouldn't her work, her achievements speak for themselves?
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But this research is saying not necessarily.
Really?
They actually compared those star performers, like the top 1%, with people who were still considered very good, like still high achievers, top 10, 20% of their field.
So killing it, just not quite at the rock star level.
Exactly. And guess what they found? Those very good employees, still seen as less masculine than the stars. It's like even when you're doing amazing work, those biases are still there in the background, affecting how people see your achievements.
That's really something. So the bias is even more obvious when we're talking about the absolute top performers.
Seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
You figure the higher you go, the more objective things get.
Yeah.
But not so fast, says this research.
Makes you wonder how much this impacts women throughout their whole careers, not just at the top.
Right. Are women missing out on mentorship because they don't fit that star mold early on?
Or getting subtly discouraged from even going for those top roles.
Exactly. And even if they push through all that and reach those top levels, are they constantly being undervalued when it comes to promotions, raises, all that?
It's like a vicious cycle. And it all goes back to these biases we don't even realize we have. Almost like we need to redefine what star performer even means, make sure it's not automatically linked to gender, right?
100%.
Yeah.
The more we can challenge these biases, those assumptions we don't even realize are there, the closer we get to everyone having a fair shot.
Yeah.
A level playing field.
Because brilliance, that has nothing to do with gender.
Ex-
So for everyone listening, this research is a huge reminder, right? We got to be aware of our own biases. Take a second, think about it. Do you find yourself labeling a man as a star faster, even when a woman's showing the same level of skill, the same achievements?
Yeah, and if you're in a position of power, if you're a manager, a mentor, anyone making decisions, how might those biases be showing up?
Oh, that's a good point.
Are you overlooking talented women for promotions? High-profile projects. We got to be intentional about recognizing everyone, celebrating what they bring to the table.
And to all the women out there, especially in fields where this bias is strong, don't let this research get you down.
Yeah, don't let it limit you. Don't question what you're capable of.
Your work matters. Your contributions matter.
And the more we can dismantle these ISPTs, these hidden biases around star performers,
Right.
the more we make space for a whole new constellation of stars to shine. And it won't matter what gender they are.
And who knows, maybe that next big thing, that groundbreaking discovery, that industry-changing idea, maybe it's out there right now, just waiting to be discovered. Imagine the talent we're missing out on because of these unconscious biases.
That's true.
So let's challenge those assumptions. Let's create a world where everyone has a real chance to reach for the stars.